What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Wi-Fi battle video. And if you guys do enjoy the BDSP Wi-Fi battle content, I want to support the content and what I do here on YouTube. The best way to support the channel is to leave a like on the video, or watch until the end of the video, because it really does help out the channel. And I would really appreciate if y'all commented on the question of the day, because I'm curious what y'all have to say, especially for this question. Out of all of the strategies I've used on the channel, which is your personal favorite? I want to know what strategy you saw on my channel that made you realize that I'm insane, and I want to know the strategy that made you click subscribe or unsubscribe. Anyway, my favorite strategy that I've come up with is linoone Gardevoir. And as you can tell from the title and thumbnail of today's video, that's the team we're using.
Oh Lord. Again, nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit.
And if you guys don't know what this strategy does, you are in for a treat. But I'm assuming the vast majority of you here already know. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this strategy back is because it is one of my personal favorite strats. And in BDSP, they took away assist, they took away incineroar, they took away weakness policy. All that I have left to my identity is like simple beam plus trace Gardevoir. That's literally all I have left, and that's terrifying. So as you can see by my team, I am packing linoone, of course, and we have Pronoun Pass, Roserade, Gardevoir, Melodic, my legit shiny Melodic coming back once again, and Mismagius. So overall, a very LGB team. My opponent's team is pretty offensive outside of the Bronzong, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I say except for the Bronzong, because my opponent is on a whole other level of play. But yeah, let's just get into this battle. My opponent's going to be leading off with their Bronzong, as I decide to lead off with my Mismagius, my Vivian, which of course is a Paper Mario reference. And turn one, I know they're probably going to go for Stealth Rocks, because in every single battle they lead off with a Choice Scarf Pokemon with a pivoting move, or their entry hazard setter, and you know, we're able to prevent rocks. We're gonna miss the Will-O-Wisp because of course with such a good turn one I'd be put in my place, reminded that, you know, I'm nothing. It's like, it doesn't matter how good you play, like you will get outplayed. So I don't even know what I'm saying, but that is what competitive Pokemon makes you think sometimes. You're like, wow, it doesn't matter what I do, the game is just gonna say no. But I also had moments where, you know, you hack the living crap out of your opponent, so, you know, it goes both ways in Pokemon. Kind of like Bisharp. Anyway, I'm a little high right now, I'm sorry. That's the only way I can tolerate Pokemon right now. But anyway, I'm going to go for Taunt again to Bronzong, because they refuse to switch it out. Like, keep in mind, I have a Probopass with Magnet Pull, which can trap in this Bronzong, and the fact that it's burned means that I can set up on it with Iron Defenses and Body Press. And at the moment in BDSP, before Pokemon Home comes to BDSP, Probopass is the only Pokemon that gets access to Body Press, so it actually has a niche for the next like 3 days, because hopefully Pokemon Home comes out soon, because Legends Arceus is like out now. People are playing it as I'm narrating this video, but regardless, I'm gonna go for Pain Split because my opponent is like refuses to switch out of the Bronzong, and I don't want to like over predict and like switch in Probopass into like an Infernape or, you know, Salamence or something. So I just decided to stay in with my Mismagius and go for Pain Split. And I'm like, okay, this guy just wants to sack off his Bronzong so bad, I will just kill it. Fine. Whatever. I could have trapped it in with Probopass, but then they finally decide to switch it out after like 5 turns. And they're going to bring out their Raikou as I go for the Hex this turn. And I was going to switch into Probopass. I was thinking about it, but thankfully I just clicked Hex. I don't want to over-predict and outplay myself. But switching into Probopass there wouldn't have been that bad actually, because I gotta set up rocks. Although Raikou does get access to Scald for some odd reason, so that's a thing. And I'm not joking about that, it really does. Like, I'm not memeing. It's hard to believe, but it does get access to Scald in the newer gens, which is kind of terrifying. But now my opponent's gonna go for a Shadow Ball. I bring in my Roserade, my Kushina, to pivot into the electric move, but they go for a Life Orb Shadow Ball. And my opponent really likes the item Life Orb. Like, I know I love Weakness Policy. Y'all know Weakness Policy is my whole personality. My opponent's obsession with Life Orb might surpass my obsession with Weakness Policy. Like, I know the Bronzong has leftovers right now, but don't be misled. My opponent loves their Life Orb, and I'm gonna punish that really hard, because I set up a layer Toxic Spikes, because even though like half their team is immune to the Toxic Spike, you know, if Starmie is analytic, it can't get natural cured, so that being poisoned is good, Infernape being poisoned is good, Raikou being Life Orb being poisoned is good, and it helps with Melodic as well, because Melodic has Dragon Tail, so I can Dragon Tail, and you know, just, you know, Hazard Shuffling is kind of scummy, but I want to set up, you know, Gardevoir to sweep, and the best way to do that is to spam entry hazards, because that's how single battling works. But now my opponent's going to bring in Infernape. I actually go for the Leaf Storm here. I was going to go for another layer of spikes, but I thought they would hard switch into their Starmie. But I go for Leaf Storm and do a very big chunk to the Infernape because it, you know, Infernape is really, really frail. It is a frail monkey. I really like Infernape though. I might use it soon in a Wi-Fi battle. But yeah, my opponent is going to go for the Flare Blitz into my Roserade, and it will knock out Kushina, unfortunately. So that's fine though, because I got up a layer of spikes and toxic spikes, and I got off, you know, I basically trade 1-for-1 with this Life Orb Infernape. So Infernape is Life Orb, Raikou is Life Orb. What else is Life Orb on their team, you may ask? Well, in comes the Starmie, and now I decided to bring in my Linoone, kind of greedy, but I didn't want to switch into Melodic onto the Raikou, and you know, I probably should have switched into Melodic here to be honest, but it's fine. I know that I can survive one hit with my Linoone because, you know, I have like max HP investment. My opponent goes for a Surf with the Starmie. I'm like, I should take this, but it does do a lot of damage because they end up being Life Orb Starmie, so third Life Orb. I do have the a Guap Berry, I believe. I forgot what berry I'm holding. Poppy Berry, maybe? Yeah, the Guap Berry, okay. I love the Poppy Berry, that's my favorite one. I'm gonna go for the Belly Drum with my Linoone, and I live with 1 HP. Calculated, 100% calculated. I definitely didn't get like the Wi-Fi bad player luck. I actually just calculated that with my 200 IQ brain that y'all think I have. So gonna go for the extreme speed here and knock out the Starmie. I really thought they would have went for a rapid spin, but I only have 1 spike and toxic spike up, so it's not too big of a deal. But now they're gonna bring Clefable, and I thought this entire game this Clefable was unaware, and I see it get poisoned here. I didn't pay attention. I thought I saw, you know, I saw the poison. I'm like, oh, it's unaware. So I go for the simple beam here to get rid of unaware, and it ends up being Magic Guard, and I'm like, oh, well, I could have just extreme speeded. I probably wouldn't have knocked it out. I mean, it might have, I'm not sure, but yeah, guess what this Clefable is? Life Orb. That's like the whole reason why I'm showing y'all this battle, because this shit is so funny. But now I'm going to bring in my Stacytron. Now the reason why this Gardevoir is named Stacytron instead of Caseytron is because Caseytron can't access her full power at the moment, because Caseytron doesn't have stored power until Pokemon Home comes out, and if it has access to Legends of Arceus, if you could like backwards transfer it to BDSP, that means Gardevoir is going to get Mystical Fire, Ice Beam, or Spear. Like, Gardevoir is going to be the coverage queen. Like, oh my god. But yeah, we're both going to go for Calm Minds. My opponent having Calm Mind as a Simple Beam is kind of terrifying, but the fact that it is Life Orb Clefable and it is poisoned because we got rid of the Magic Guard, which it wound up having, I'm actually in a really good position. I can actually beat this thing 1v1. If they were unaware, they could have switched out and back in, maybe, and that could have probably beaten me because I don't have access to stored power, but they still would have been hurt by poison, and I don't know. I mean, I probably would have went down the timer, to be honest, because, you know, Wi-Fi battles are fun. But yeah, this Life Orb Clefable is poisoned as well, so I can just slowly but surely take it down. I'm going to go for the Draining Kiss, you know, kiss it, and unfortunately it lives with very low HP. Not that it matters too much because it can't really hurt my Gardevoir, and look at that, I'm basically back at full HP. My opponent gonna go for another Moonblast as it's gonna hit me. Unfortunately, it gets a special attack drop, and you know, my Gardevoir, I'm gonna get -2 because of Simple, so Simple actually working against me here. But it's fine, down goes the Clefable, I'm still at +2 special attack, and now my opponent is going to send in their Bronzong. So the Bronzong being bird here is huge because this +2 Thunderbolt is not going to knock out the Bronzong. If this Bronzong wasn't burned, this Gyro Ball would have definitely knocked me out. But thankfully, we are able to live because Stacytron isn't no slouch. Stacytron is OP when you're not fighting a Scizor. Trust me. Like, Thunderbolt and, you know, Fairy is pretty decent coverage in like the Gen 4 metagame. Like, you know, there is stuff that resists it, but, you know, with enough boost, Gardevoir can push past it. And you have, you know, 5 other Pokemon on your team, so yeah. Anyway, my opponent's gonna bring in Raikou here, and I'm thinking that, you know, I might live a Life Orb Shadow Ball because I'm at +4 special defense, but I could get crits, and I don't really want to risk it. You know, my mental calcs are good, like that Linoone was totally calculated, but I'm not sure if I could live this. I thought I could, and I actually could live the Shadow Ball without enduring, and I get a special defense drop as well, which is kind of funny. But none of this matters because now I'm going to eat my Slackberry, which is like one of the biggest selling points for this strategy, is that you can get +2 speed and multiple special attack boosts, which sets you up for your sweep outside of priority moves. And unfortunately, there's no Psychic Terrain Setter like Tapu Lele in this game to help you versus Scizor. I say unfortunately, but I mean, I think we're all grateful that Tapu Lele isn't in this game. Maybe Indeedee could have been cool. Anyway, actually Indeedee's more broken than Tapu Lele low-key if you play VGC. But that's besides the point. In comes Salamence, and they're gonna give me -2 with Intimidate, so my opponent's showing that Simple Beam is like, you know, actually working against me low-key, but I showed my opponent that like Mono Life Orb isn't a good idea. Like Toxic Spikes like put in a lot of work, to be honest. Especially with the Hex combo on Mismagius, Toxic Spikes can be really good on this team. It feels kind of scummy to use, but it's really good for setting up sweeps for Gardevoir, and you know, Draining Kiss just one-shot Salamence. And I get all of my health back and defeat G Money with the Linoone Gardevoir combination. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle. I know it wasn't the most competitive, but you know, it was a pretty fun battle. But I do have another battle for y'all today. My next opponent has a pretty scary team. They have Breloom, Garchomp, Latios, Scizor, which are like the scariest sweepers and wall breakers ever. And then Starmie, which can, you know, represent away my hazards, which is kind of bad for my team. And then Gliscor, which could carry Defog. Latios could carry Defog as well, but considering how broken Latios is, I think giving it Defog in this BDSP metagame is sort of a waste. But yeah, that's my opponent's team, and let's just get right into this battle. My opponent's going to be leading off with their Gliscor turn 1, because it does learn Stealth Rock, so they're bound to lead off with it. As I'm going to lead off with my Kushina, my Roserade. Now, I'm assuming we're going to trade entry hazards here, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll just go for a Toxic Spike happily. And my opponent is going to go for the Stealth Rock, so we're just going to trade entry hazards here, which is how you single battle. It's you spam hazards and set up moves, and people think, oh my gosh, it's so much more fun to watch than VGC, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to shade y'all, but it's low-key true. Anyway, gonna go for Lair Spikes, and my opponent is going to go for the U-turn. Gonna go for the pivoting move, so they lead off with their Hazard Slider, which also has a pivoting move, so what I said in the first battle is still correct. My opponent's going to U-turn out and bring out their Latios, and I'm like, I don't have a switch in. Thankfully, my team isn't too weak to rocks, so I'm not too terrified that my opponent got Stealth Rocks up. A WeedleTwineedle team without a massive Stealth Rock weakness. Is this the real WeedleTwineedle? Anyway, I'm going to bring in my Nose Best, my Proton Pass, as my opponent is going to go for a Psychic, and even though I resist it, I take almost like a quarter, and I'm like, is that Life Orb? No, I think that's Choice Specs, and they do switch out and bring out their Starmie here. As I do believe I just go for my Stealth Rocks as they bring out their Starmie, which of course is shiny as well. My opponent is just really good at shiny hunting. I wish I could be that good at shiny hunting, but so far I've only gotten one shiny, which is my Melodic. I know I use it a lot, you all are probably sick of it, but only have one shiny. When you're not on your opponent's shiny hunting level, you want to like showcase that one shiny as much as you can. I know a lot of my opponents have like 60 shinies because they're like a phenomenal at shiny hunting. Like I could never, but my one shiny Melodic, I gotta, you know, show it to the world and pretend like I'm as cool as these guys with their mono shiny teams. But yeah, my opponent's gonna go for a Hydro Pump. I bring in Mismagius expecting Rapid Spin because I have so many hazards up, but they go for Hydro Pump, and it does almost knock me out, but thankfully we're able to survive, so we still have a way to block Rapid Spin. But I'm not sure if I should sack off Mismagius here or not. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, do I sack this thing? Hacks could be really good into their team because they don't have a ghost resistance. But I do decide to sack off my Mismagius because I don't really have a switch into this Starmie. So I just sack off my Mismagius, and after the Life Orb and Poison, I do believe they'll be in range of Linoone's E-Speed, so I'm not going to make the same mistake I did in the last battle. I call it a mistake, but it was actually really calculated, and, you know, wouldn't have backfired at all if they got a slightly higher roll. No. But I go for the Extreme Speed. I don't try to go for Ballydrome, and I knock out the Starmie, so they cannot go for Rapid Spin, so I will take that. We do get a useless crit. I don't think it mattered. I mean, it might have, but I'm like Adamant Max Attack and Stab. I doubt that Starmie has any, you know, defense investment or HP because it was Life Orb, so yeah. In comes Latios, and I don't really have a switch into this, so I decide to make a middle ground play. I thought maybe they go for Surf, expecting my Probopass again, so I bring in my Azuri here, expecting the Surf, or, you know, Draco Meteor maybe. I could take one, maybe, but they go for Thunderbolt of all moves, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I expected, and I nearly get one-shots because Azura is not that bulky. I am Modest Nature. I did not change it at all. It's like the same Melodic I use in like every battle. I should probably like, I have clones of it, so maybe I should optimize it, but I also just like using the original like over and over. It feels good, you know? But now I'm going to bring in my Stacytron here instead of Linoone. I know there's no Pokemon with Simple on the field yet, but I can, you know, bring in Stacytron, Trace Levitate, and pressure out the Latios, and they're going to switch out and bring in their Sizzler right here, as I do decide to, I think I go for a Thunderbolt, I do believe, as I, wait, we'll see. After all these hazards, I go for Thunderbolt. Yeah, I go for Thunderbolt, expecting the Scizor switch, as it doesn't do too much damage because it is like a defensive Scizor, and of course it is Bugger Scizor. I know Shiny Scizor isn't that bad. I don't think it's that bad, but you can't deny it looks like a bugger. Okay, you can't.
No,
you can't
it's
deny
true.
that.
It's true.
Okay, I hope Cleaver Shiny looks better than that. Anyway, I'm gonna bring in Nose Best, and my opponent's gonna go for the Sword Stance. I thought they'd go for Roost, but they go for Sword Stance because they're greedy. And now they're trapped in here unless they do carry U-turn, but if they go for Sword Stance U-turn here, they won't get healed off, and I still have entry hazards up, so I won't be too upset if they go for U-turn. They do decide to go for Roost first, which definitely makes sense, as I decide to go for the Iron Defense, yes. So Iron Defense, on the Pronon Pass, we're gonna get increased defense, and I don't think the Scizor can beat me unless it has a fighting type attack, and the only fighting type attack Scizor gets right now is Brick Break, I do believe, and it's not too powerful, and most don't usually run that. But I go for Body Press. I do way more to the Scizor than the, Bullet Punch does to me, and I'm thinking that they're going to U-turn out because, I mean, they're going to lose their Scizor, which is like their only check to the Gardevoir. But they actually go for Bullet Punch again. Maybe they don't carry U-turn. They might carry like Exozor. I go for the rest here, expecting them to go for U-turn, because I am Resto Chesto Probopass, so I can, heal myself back up as I'm trapping in a Steel type. It's a pretty gimmicky set though, because, most Steel types can actually like beat Probopass, like, Heatran can Earth Power you, Scizor could just run a fighting type attack and snipe you down, but right now they don't run fighting type attacks. Once Pokemon Home comes out, they're gonna, everything's just gonna like start getting broken moves again, so this won't really work, but thankfully Probopass is able to 1v1 Scizor, which is really good for my Gardevoir. Scizor pretty much cockblocks Gardevoir extremely hard. But now they're gonna bring in their Breloom here, and I'm like, I don't really have a switch in, and I mean I do have +2 with Iron Defense, so I do think I could just tank a hit or two from this Breloom. And, or maybe I could take one hit, but they actually decided to go for Spore, and I kind of wished I didn't go for Rest, because, I mean, they probably would have went for Mach Punch then if I was at lower HP. But, yeah, they go for Spore, and I'm going to go right back to sleep, because they want my Probopass to stay asleep. They think Probopass is cute when it's sleeping, and it is. It's really cute. I like how its cap just, like, goes down. That's, like, half the reason why I run Chest to Rest. I was fighting Roark, I think, where they have Probopass that uses Rest for some reason with Focus Sash, and I thought, like, I saw the animation, and I'm like, I gotta run Rest on my Probopass too, because it's funny. So I go for Body Press, I get the first turn Wake. That was so greedy of them. I don't know why they did that, but you know what? Wi-Fi players only know setup sweeping. They only know Sword Stance priority move. Meaning about that, like, it's a true stereotype that I don't. I mean, it's the sad truth. I'm the same way. Iron Defense Body Press is the same thing. But anyway, I'm gonna bring in my Roserade. Earthquake gonna knock out my Kushina. Unfortunately, Kushina gonna go down in both battles, but we got up Toxic Spike and Spike in both the battles. So I say Roserade did its job. Its main job on teams is to set up hazards, and Breloom's gone, so I don't really need to check Breloom anymore. So yeah, now I'm gonna bring him Pick Me Up, and I probably could set up a Belly Drum against this Gliscor, but I decided to go for Extreme Speed because what if they crit me with Earthquake? Like, I don't want to be that person. And actually, if they crit me with Earthquake, I might have still died anyway, but that's besides the point. Anyway, I'm gonna get my Pinch Berry. After that, like, Starmie moment where I lived at 1 HP, I, like, got way too passive with Belly Drum. But that's fine because Linoone isn't meant to sweep. I mean, it can with Belly Drum E-Speed. I actually reveal my last move here, which is Thief. I thief away the Toxic Orb just to be a weird meme person because, I play for the content. And now I'm poisoned, so now I can spam Simple Beam until I die, which is kind of funny. So I'm gonna go for Simple Beam here into the Gliscor. They're gonna lose their Poison Heal, which is really funny, and now they're gonna knock me out with the Earthquake, of course, but now they're gonna get hurt by their own Poison Orb because I removed their Poison Heal, and this is just super iconic to me because they take like a quarter of their HP, and now I can bring in Gardevoir, Trey Simple, and now if they stay in an Earthquake, they're gonna take more poison damage, and if they switch out, I get a free Calm Mind, so it's like a win-win situation. The only bad thing is that they carry Knockoff, and then they can knock off me, but I don't think they carry Knockoff. They have Rocks, U-Turn, Earthquake, and I didn't see their last move, so it might be Knockoff. Or it might be Roost. I don't remember what their moves are, to be honest, but I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind as they go for U-Turn, which definitely makes sense, and they're gonna U-Turn out, and I forgot who they bring in. I think it is Garchomp, right? Yeah, they bring out their Garchomp because Garchomp does SP Gardevoir, and I will get knocked out by an Earthquake, unfortunately. But what my opponent doesn't know is I have that Endure attack, and they actually wound up having a Lumberry here on their Garchomp, so they're not going to get poisoned, but The fact that Toxic Spike consumes that is like really nice. That would have helped Miss Majors because I could like Will-O-Wisp that potentially. But I'm going to go for the Indoor as my opponent's going to go for the Earthquake into the Gardevoir. We're going to live at 1 HP and we're going to, you know, nom 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 on our Select Berry. So now we're going to outspeed the Garchomp. The Scizor's dead. We're set up to sweep for the most part. So I'm going to go for Draining Kiss right here. But with the Rough Skin, we heal first, thankfully. We don't get Rough Skin first, but if we did, that would have been so depressing. Thankfully, it doesn't work that way. But we're able to knock out Garchomp with Draining Kiss. As now, we saw that there's only 3 minutes left on the timer, which of course, not that it matters because I am set up to sweep. I should like be able to clean up my opponent here with my Gardevoir, so I just go for Draining Kiss into the Gliscor to knock it out, as we do knock out the Gliscor. Even though, am I at +2 or +4? I'm not even paying attention, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to knock out Gliscor with the Draining Kiss, give him a little smooch. And my opponent right here is so traumatized by the Gardevoir, you already know what's about to happen. The Rage Quit. So, Linoone Gardevoir getting a Rage Quit. I'm too powerful with this combo. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed those Wi-Fi battles featuring a try and true combo on the channel. I really wanted to use a blunder policy set in Gen 8, but oh my god, that's so crackhead. I don't know if I can do that, but maybe that's another future video, and then I can make a playlist entirely out of Linoone Gardevoir videos. Holy crap, that'd be iconic. If you guys got to this point in the video, make sure to leave a like, as it really does help out the channel, and comment on the second question of the day.
Another one.
Which starter are you picking in Legends of Arceus? I'm probably picking Cyndaquil, and if you guys want to watch me play Legends of Arceus, I'm not too sure what sort of content I can make on that game, but I do plan on streaming it on YouTube. I might be streaming it right now as you're watching this video, so make sure to check out my channel. I might be streaming, so yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Guys, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. I love you all very, very much, and I'll check you guys in my next video.